Hey, it's Mr. Johns. Welcome back to Coding in Scratch. This is episode 6. We're going to add some collectibles. So far, what we have is just a guy that runs and jumps. His eyes are animated. He won't sink into the ground. He won't run through walls. If he touches lava, he dies. And when there's a lava to jump over, there are some steps to have to climb up and over some lava, and my lava is gone. I need to fix that. And when he reaches the finish line, he makes a noise and then shows a new costume that says next level. So what we need to do is start by finding a collectible, and I just went to search in the Scratch library, and I found a star that I renamed Starfish, and then also made it half the size because I think 100% it was just a little bit too big, and 50% was just about right. And it looks like a starfish, so I think that is the perfect collectible for an underwater game. So we're going to give it some purpose. To start with, we need to select the collectible and go up to the code and make a block like here. So when we click to start the game, set the stars to 0. Where did I get that? Well, that's a new variable. So go to variable, make a variable, call it coins, points, collectibles, whatever you want to call it. For me, it's stars, and I kept the box checked this time. Normally, we turn that stuff off, but in this case, I want that to be my scoreboard, and some people just call it points or whatever. So we're going to set stars to 0. Like if you were playing the game and you got 12 and then you started over because you died, it would then reset. So that's what that's about. Wait 0 seconds, and then we want it to go to 0, 0. I'm not 100% sure if I need that wait in there, but I'm going to keep it. I've seen code like that before. And then we're telling the star to go to the middle of the screen. So if I drag it, watch what happens when I click start and then stop and then start. It just puts it in the middle of the screen, which is 0, 0. So that's the basics to get started, but there is some more for sure. We're going to go to the pink My Blocks and create a brand new custom block and start telling these stars what we want them to do. Let's call this clone X with a colon after it, clone X colon. We're going to add a text input. We're going to call it X. We're going to add a label, and we're going to call it Y colon. Y colon. And we're going to create another text input, and we're going to call it Y. And then we're going to create another label and call it level colon. And then one more text input. We're going to call this level hashtag, which is number, which is the number symbol as well. So clone X with an X text, with a Y colon label, with a Y text input, with a level colon label, and with a level hashtag text input. Make sure you click this little box here, run without screen refresh, click OK. What that does, it gives us a definition block over here. It also gives us a new pink block right here. And so that is going to be super useful when we tell the game where we want the stars. Next, we're going to drag that pink block down underneath of our code block for the starfish or for your collectible. And I want to drag make sure you're on stop. Drag the collectible where I want it to be. You notice sometimes I go all the way over here to motion just to look up the location of where it is, but it also, if I'm looking on the right side of the screen, it shows me the same numbers right here. So I am 22 to the right of start, and I am negative 107 down from the start. So that's the location. And if I just type that in here, X is 22 and Y is negative 107. Next, we're going to grab a motion block, and we're going to do the go to XY, and we're just going to drag that, put it under our definition block, and we're going to tell it, hey, go to XX. So just pay attention here. Just do what I am doing, and then go to YY. Okay, doesn't matter if you can wrap your head around that, just go ahead and copy that. Go to XX and go to YY. Next, we're going to set the level. So let's go to our variable. We have a new variable called level hashtag. So let's set level hashtag to level number. We're going to drag this down here. So this will help the clone. The logic here is that we don't have to make a code for every single level. It will just do that for us. This code will pretty much help just make things simpler for us in the long run. All right, and then we're going to create a clone of ourselves. So create a clone. This is an event. So create a clone. I thought it was an event. Nope, it wasn't. It's a control. It's a dark. Well, it's a lighter orange than that one is. So we're going to create a clone of myself, and let's see if it does anything yet. Bink. Oh, it dropped. So now what? Oh, okay. So it dropped to the location that we told it to be right here. So because we said to do that, we said, hey, go to X, whatever's in X here, and go to Y, whatever's in Y here. And when we hit start, which it did. So, however, it doesn't know we touched it yet. Then we need to add a show and a hide. So when it creates a clone of itself, we can tell it when to show the stars. We're basically making a clone of this star. We're just making one star, and we're making a clone of it and telling it where to go. We also need to tell it when to show and when not to show, right? So if they all show up on this first level and there's 30 stars, that would look dumb. So I think the illusion with Scratch is that you're actually going to, like right here, I'm going to another level. That's not true. The screen never changed. This is the same screen. So it's a trick of the eye. So I am simply just running across the same screen over and over again. I don't know if you realize that. Even in games like Super Mario Brothers, that's what you do. You are running over and over and over again. And we're just changing the graphics. So we can't show all the stars at once. We have to show them only if it's a second level, third level, fourth level, etc. So we're going to, when I start as a clone, we want to show a star. Okay, so show right here, down here, show. And then we also need a hide up here. So we're going to stick the hide in this start block. Boop, boop. So it's going to hide all the stars except for this one. Okay, and then when there's a clone, which will happen later, next, it will then show it. That's the simple code for that. And then next, this is what kind of the logic seems a little bit backwards, but remember, we're coding the star, the collectible, not the player. So it's an interesting way to think of it, but when the star touches the player, give a point, right? You can't ever go wrong. The star has to touch the player. So we're going to add a forever loop. So a forever loop, we don't need an if then else, just a forever loop there. And we want to say, hey, if you're touching the player, so that's a sensing thing. If you are touching, now we need a we need an if then in the forever loop. If you're touching if you're touching the player, and the player is always we named it player, right? So everything we've named so far, in mine I've got edge, player, well, the edge is always there. Player, ground, fish, crab, lava, sprite 1. Sprite 1 is a little touchpad that I made to trigger the last level. So if we touch the player, then what should happen? Right? I mean, points should go up. So we should change the score, change the stars by 1. Let's see if that happens. Play. Okay, right now, 0. And then if I run, it went up by 12. Oh, It doesn't stop. Look at that. So it just goes and goes. There's a cheat. So we're going to have to fix that. But first, we're going to repeat this. And this is maybe how many, let's see, repeat. I think that's an event. I always think it's an event, but then it ends up being a control. Yeah, repeat. So we want to repeat that roughly, let's say 20 times. I'll just start with 20 stars. There's not that much room on this 5-level game, so 20 stars is maybe too much. Maybe I'll go 10. 10 stars. And then we want to change. We're going to go to looks. And we're going to change an effect. I'll show you what I mean with this. We're going to change the ghost effect. Woo! By 8. I'm going to change that to 5 actually, and not 8. So it's half of the stars. We'll see if that matters. I'm going to play with that number just a little bit and see how that affects it. And then we want to change Y by 1 after that happens. That's the up and down location. Change Y. You'll see what I mean. I have an idea. Change Y by 1. Okay. And then I think we want to delete this clone after that. Because after you collect it, you want it to go away, right? So that would be delete this clone. Delete this clone right there. So and I think right there on the bottom of the if-then loop right there. So let's see if it happens and see if my points still go up by crazy amounts. Bink. Oh. So I solved the problem right there just by telling it to go away after I touch it. Boink. So I can only get 1 point. It doesn't stay around long enough for me to get more. So that solved that problem, and it's gone. So very cool. Next up, we're going to add a if-then-else block around the whole thing. So let's put that right here. So it's if-then, and then the very bottom, else. And then the if-then is what we just created is now inside that. So if you're touching the player, we know that all that stuff's going to happen. But what about the levels? So we're going to grab an operator, and this is going to be a green equals operator right here. And we're going to tell it, hey, if the level equals level hashtag, if the level equals level hashtag, and we can just grab variables for that because we have a variable called level and we have a variable called hashtag. Again, if you don't follow, it's fine. Just do it, and we'll see what happens. You can always play. The way you learn is you play with the code, drag and drop, and if something stops working, put it back or change it and see what happens, and make backups a lot. Save often and make backups. So you always have, when something's working, save it. And then play with it. And if it messes up, I would recommend you save it as a backup, because if you have autosave on, even if you think you're good and then you mess everything up and it just autosaved, that's what you have. So you can go up to File and make a copy, save as a copy, and I usually call it backup, and so or original or whatever. Backup's good because I know what that is. And then if I mess up something, which I do all the time, I go to my backup and rebuild from there. So. All right, we're going to, if the level equals level hashtag, then we want to show the collectible right here, okay? Else, that is not in the right place. I already have a show there. I need a hide. That's what I need, down here, hide. So I don't think that's going to change anything that happens here on level 1. Bink. Oh. What happened there? See? Look. Watch what happens to the star. Bink. It kind of fades out. It's kind of cool, right? Bink. So like that, we're getting better as we go here. Okay, so hold on a little bit. This one's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to change our Y and add a kind of a crazy little motion. I like the fact that that thing fades when you click it, but it's a starfish that's floating in water, so it should be moving. So I decided let's add a little motion to it. So motion would be the Y variable. Up and down is Y. Okay, so just remember that. So we're going to change Y. So let's go up here under the forever loop. Change Y by. And then we're going to do, whoa, and it took off. See that? Change Y by 10. Boop. It just took off. If we change that by 2 and then hit stop start, boop. Floats away. Floats away, which we don't want it to do. So we're going to add some math. So hold on here. Operators. So under operators, we need, this is going to be a little bit crazy. I'm going to try to, I have an example on my left here of my finished version. So that's why if you see my eyes looking, that's what I'm looking at to make sure I'm getting my code correct. So we have the times here. Change Y by something times something. And we're going to have the number 1 here. And then we're going to have another times in the other little round thing. And notice that whatever is highlighted is where it goes. So be careful here. We're going to drop it. So we have change Y by 1 times and then another little blank times blank. And then we need to do a timer, which is a blue sensor thing. And we're going to go down to timer. We're going to drag it, and I think I'm missing something. One second. We need, I'm looking for this, of. That's what I'm looking for. The abs of. We're going to put this in the middle circle. We're going to change the abs, so just hold on here. I will have the final code as a link, so you can just go look at the final code as well. We're going to add the sign. So this is a math thing. It's all cool. It's all cool if you don't know it, understand it. It's fine. I don't either. It's the sign of something that makes it work. I just know the code that works. So we're going to go the sign of the timer. Now we're back to that blue sensor thing and the timer. We're going to go the sign of the timer. Okay, times, and let's just go 400 on this. So 1 times the sign of timer times 400. 1 sign. Yes, I think we got it right. So anything happen yet? Let's find out. Ooh, it disappears. So that's not good. We don't want it to float away. So we'll get there. We'll get there. So at least this is in, and that's a step in the right direction. I do believe I'm missing one. There was an extra show that I got rid of, and I think that has to be right here at the very top. Still, my star still floats away, but I think I'm all good. Looking through my code, so I have to debug as well, and so I'm debugging. I've got show forever, and I've got the math. If level equals level hashtag then show. If touching player then change stars by 1. Repeat 10 times. Let's try 20. 20 times. Change ghost by 5. Change Y by 1. Delete this clone, and then else hide. So I've got it correct, but my star still floats away. So that's, you have to know with coding, sometimes it's the next step that's going to fix that problem. Okay, so I had to redo this math. It wasn't working the way I wanted it to, so I redid it. So make sure you're in this order. So it is change Y by 1 times blank, and then drag the sign of into that second circle. Somehow I drug it in the wrong spot, I think. And then this is another times block operator. Drag it to the last circle, and then type in 400 in the last circle and grab that timer from the blue sensor and put it right here. Make sure it only goes in there. When you hit start, that is what I was wanting it to do, is just bob a little bit. So really cool effect. So the star is bobbing, and when I click it, it kind of floats away, and which I'm not really sure I love that now that I think about it. He collects it, which means he either eats it or puts it in his pocket, but it kind of floats away. It's okay. It's a collectible, and I get 1 point for that. One thing that a lot of you have learned is that Scratch is pretty glitchy. Like, I've looked at students' code that looks correct, that is correct, and it doesn't work. And some of my code has done that. It's just like, it makes zero sense. And then I either save the game and exit and get back in, or I refresh the screen or something, and then all of a sudden it works. Or I take a code off and put it back on, and then it works. I don't know. All I can say is it can be glitchy. So if you are so frustrated because you're 99% sure it's correct, or 100% sure, you're going to have to stick with it, save it, exit, come back in, try moving a few things out, or redo a code. Because I don't know if I actually had this code wrong or if I just had to redo it. But regardless, the second time it worked, and it does exactly what I want it to do. Now, how do we add additional coins? Well, if we were to just go to where we want to be, maybe another coin up here, another coin. I keep calling it a coin, that's standard. That maybe I want a coin to be, let's hit stop and start. What if I want the coin, stop. Oh, I need to show. Let's show it. I want there to be a coin, a star here. Maybe he's going to have to jump forward a little bit, jump off, and I can test it. No, I can't test it because it'll reset now. So now I'm just placing stars where I want it to be, and here's the location. So if we go back up to this code, we can just right-click, duplicate, make another one. But in this case, whoop, hey, go to where I want you to go, dude. I drug a second one from the first one, and that is right there. And it let me do that because I have a clone block. So I'm going to put this one here, and the code, it looks like it's 22, and it can't be negative. It has to be, I want this one. So let's drag it. That is not going to work. I'm going to drag it up here, and I want my code to be matching this. So it's X161. It's Y -17. So you will continue adding collectible locations until you have quite a list here, and you just continue the same routine. You basically will just hit play. You can run to the level that you want, and then you want to hit stop, and then we want to right click and duplicate the code block, put it on the bottom, and then show the star, drag it to where you want it, make note of the locations, and type those numbers in right here, and then that star will appear at that level and as a new clone. So I'm not going to add that because I have plenty. So I've got 2 on the first level, I've got 3 on the second level, and keep in mind that there will be enemies here, so it's not going to be just running and collecting coins, but they're going to be a little bit trickier to get with an enemy rushing at you. And then I've got 1 on both sides of the lava gap. This level, my lava disappeared. I need to put it back, but I do have a couple stars that are a little bit out of reach, but not much. I could have probably pushed it just a little bit more. And then 1 at the end. Now, this 1 at the end is important because it tells the player he needs to go touch the pineapple. I was having trouble with the pineapple triggering anything. And so if you look carefully, and maybe not too carefully, I have a slightly darker color of sand right here. Maybe it's a little bit too visible. I should hide it maybe, but I wanted to make sure he touched it. So, and that star dangling before his eyes makes him know that he's got to go there. So he runs across that touchpad, which plays the song. He collects, by the way, he collects the star. It plays the song. It shows another and this is a ground sprite, ground costume, and it's next level costume. And so it just is basically telling it to, just like it if it was going to another level. And in this case, this level is just words that say next level. You could have it say anything, right? So that's how you add collectibles to a game. And you'll notice that my points go up as I grab them. They disappear. And as I work my way across the levels, I should end up with, let's find out how many points I have total. Oh, that shouldn't have happened. I'm not sure what that was about. I'm not sure why I finished the level before. So there's always something to improve on in Scratch that should not have happened. So I'll play that a couple times and see if I can fix that. So thanks for joining me. Up next, enemies. And I think that's where we'll leave it. So you'll have enemies that get in the way of you trying to collect those things and get to the finish. And you know, you've got to give the game purpose. And this is maybe down the road a little bit if you wanted to take it further, but there's got to be a reason to collect the stars, or the collectibles, right? So maybe every 10 you get a free life, or you get a weapon. You can see there's got to be a purpose, a reason to collect. So you would set that up. Also, the enemies, if they could just kill you over and over and over and over again, that's not great. So you want to maybe have 3 lives to play the level or play the game or whatever, and we can set that up as well in the next episode, which will be our final episode. Thanks for following along. I will have the code in a link down below, so you can just copy it into your own, create it and into your own game. So, and I'm excited to see what you come up with. But for now, I'm out of here. Mr. Johns is out.